Welcome to Deceive and Believe, exposing the mind games of scams and arming you with the knowledge to push back. Today, we're exposing a scam older than the internet, older than the phone, an illusion remade with each new wave of technology. It begins with a message of fortune. You've won the lottery, or a prize you never even entered. From letters sent through the post to emails and texts today, this con has survived for generations, and it's still working. We'll uncover its origins, the psychology that makes people fall for it time and time again, and, most importantly, how you can protect yourself before your big win turns into a big loss. But what does this scam actually look like in practice? At its core, it's a fake notification that you've won a lottery, sweepstake, or prize draw. The scammer's goals can vary. Upfront fees. They demand processing, tax, or insurance payments before you can access your winnings. Personal data harvesting. Even if they don't ask for money, they want your full name, address, date of birth, and bank details. With that, they can commit identity fraud or sell your data to other criminals. Phishing links. Some messages include a link to verify your prize that installs malware or steals login credentials. Long game manipulation. Once they have your contact, they'll continue sending follow-ups, each designed to squeeze more money or data out of you. The hook is always the same. You've won something amazing, and all you need to do is act now. And while today it might arrive as a text, email, or social media message, the idea of the "you've won" scam is older than the internet itself. In fact, it's older than phones. For centuries, fraudsters have dangled the promise of sudden fortune to exploit human hope. Early versions showed up as chain letters in the 19th and early 20th century, handwritten notes urging people to send money forward for a chance at wealth. But it wasn't until the 1970s and 80s, when international postal networks grew, that the modern lottery scam emerged. Scammers mailed winning notices to unsuspecting households, asking for processing fees before handing over the prize. Victims unaware of cross-border lotteries were inclined to trust them. By the 1990s, mass mail technology supercharged the scam. Entire neighborhoods would receive letters claiming they'd won in some grand overseas sweepstakes. Many elderly victims, believing official-sounding stamps and seals, paid life savings for prizes that never existed. Then came the era of email. In the early 2000s, inboxes around the globe were flooded with fake Euro Millions or international lottery messages. The Nigerian scam format blended in perfectly with those formal-looking emails, extravagant promises, and our request for a small upfront fee. And today, the scam has mutated once again. Scammers now sell the same tricks via social media DMs, WhatsApp, and even robocalls. They mask their messages with urgency, claim within 24 hours or forfeit your prize. And with deepfake logos, cloned websites, and AI-generated emails, the trickery has never looked more convincing. So why do people still fall for it? The answer is psychological. These scams are not based on probability. They're based on exploiting hardwired human responses. Let's examine the most powerful tricks that they use.
Scarcity and urgency. You must respond within 24 hours. That's textbook scarcity.
When something appears as though it might vanish, our brain panics. Kahneman's work on decision-making under pressure illustrates how scarcity pushes us into System 1 thinking, fast, emotional, and generally sloppy. The result? People act before they think. Authority bias. Fake seals, legal jargon, even signatures from government officials. This exploits directly authority bias, first shown way back in the 1960s by Stanley Milgram's obedience experiments, where regular people followed commands from a man in a lab coat, even when it meant administering what they thought were fatal shocks. Later, Daniel Kahneman showed why this happens. Under cognitive strain, our brains default to shortcuts. And one of the strongest shortcuts is trusting authority symbols. A simple stamp or letterhead is often enough to disarm suspicion. Social proof. Thousands have already claimed, or endless fake testimonials. These lean on social proof. Robert Cialdini's experiments showed that when we're uncertain, we copy the behavior of others. If others are celebrating their winnings, we assume we should too. Greed versus rationality conflict. Money doesn't behave like numbers on a page, it behaves like fire in the brain. Neuroscientists have shown that the mere anticipation of financial gain triggers the brain's dopamine system, the same reward circuit that lights up with drugs or gambling. It creates a chemical rush that pushes us to chase the outcome, even if logic says it's impossible. Behavioral economists like Kahneman and Tversky proved this with prospect theory, 1979. People consistently overvalue tiny chances of big gains while undervaluing the certainty of losses. That's why the fantasy of a huge windfall clouds rational risk assessment. Morgan Housel, in The Psychology of Money, ties this together beautifully. People don't play the lottery for odds. They play for hope. The emotional story of sudden transformation outweighs any mathematical reality. And this is exactly what scammers exploit. They don't just offer money, they sell you the feeling of escape. The idea that, finally, you've been chosen and life could be different tomorrow. In that moment, rationality isn't just dulled, it's silenced. Commitment and consistency. Once you've paid a small processing fee, the scammer doesn't stop. They ask for another, and another. You'd think people would walk away, but they don't. Psychologists call this the commitment and consistency principle. Friedman and Fraser proved it in the 1960s with their foot in the door experiment. Once people agreed to a tiny request, they were far more likely to agree to a bigger one. Why? Because to stop would mean admitting they were wrong. And our brains hate contradiction. This is cognitive dissonance, the tension between past choices and present reality. To resolve it, people double down. Instead of protecting their money, they protect their ego. In short, commitment hijacks our need for self-image stability. We'd rather waste more than admit we were wrong. And that's exactly what the scammer is counting on. So how do you protect yourself against lottery and prize scams? The defenses aren't complicated, but they're powerful because each one directly disrupts the psychology the scammer is relying on. Ask yourself, did I enter? It sounds obvious, but it's the strongest defense. If you never entered a lottery or a competition, you cannot win. This simple question shatters the illusion of legitimacy because it forces your rational brain to confront the impossibility. Break the urgency loop. Scammers thrive on speed. Respond within 24 hours or lose your prize. That's scarcity and urgency designed to keep you in System 1, fast, emotional thinking. The defense? Slow down. Pause. Tell yourself, if it's real, it'll still be there tomorrow. That pause reactivates System 2, your logical, analytical brain. Refuse upfront payments. No legitimate lottery will ever ask you to pay a fee to release winnings. The moment someone asks for money, the game ends. This ruins the commitment and consistency trap. By refusing the first payment, you never step onto the slippery slope. Verify independently. Scammers rely on authority symbols, logos, signatures, official-sounding emails. But authority collapses under scrutiny. Check the official website. Contact the company directly. Independent verification cuts straight through the authority bias. Protect your details. Sometimes it's not money they want, it's data. Your name, your date of birth, your bank account number. With those, they can commit fraud or sell your identity. Treat your personal information like currency. Never hand it over unless you're absolutely certain. Picture this, you open your inbox. At the top sits an email with flashing colors and bold letters. Congratulations, you've won £500,000. Your heart races. You imagine debts cleared, holidays booked, a different life. Then comes the catch, a small processing fee to unlock your fortune. It feels tiny compared to the prize. But here's the truth, if you didn't enter, you didn't win. And that small payment, that's the real jackpot for the scammer. Scammers know how to weaponize hope, urgency, and our trust in authority. But once you see the psychology, you can't be fooled so easily. If this helped you, share it with someone who might get that too good to be true message. And subscribe for more insights into the dark psychology behind scams, so you'll always stay one step ahead.